everybody, welcome back to an adventure with me and T. Today I am skirting some alpaca fiber for Judy Sneed at Sneed's Farmhouse Sanctuary in Coleman, Alabama. This one that I'm finishing up today is her little cria. He's actually a year old now, but this is his cria fleece. His name's Tater Bug. And she wanted to have something special made from his fiber from his first year's clip. So I'm gonna just show you the basics of how I do it. That's not necessarily the way that everybody does it. I do spin by hand, so I take a little bit of extra time to go lock by lock and kind of get everything out. What I don't get out in the skirting process will come out in the picker, and what doesn't come out in the picker will probably drop out during spinning, and if it doesn't, then I'll pick it out by hand then. But this is the pre-wash stage where it's just raw fiber, and as you see, the fiber is different colors on the tips. That's from the cria floating around in the amniotic fluid, and it bleaches out the tips of their fiber. Now that happens with adult alpacas as well, but that's mainly just from the sun. A lot of times if they're in direct sunlight for a long time during the summer months and everything, they will have a little bit of fading on the tips. So basically what I do is, this is a single lock of fiber, and as you can see, it's a whole another color on the ends. I go through and I pick out all these little second cuts, these little blobs of fiber that you don't want in your yarn, and I check the strength of the fiber to make sure it's strong enough to spin. You pull on it and make sure that it's a good, nice, tough fiber. Then I just pick out all the little bits of hay and debris. Not every single one, but like I said, what I don't get out picking by hand will come out in the picker box or in spinning. And these guys are on, she has 4 alpacas, and they are on dry lot, so there's not a lot of dirt. Like here in Florida, we have sand, a lot of sand that gets into the fiber. And with those, what I do is I put them in a rabbit cage, and I just turn the blower on, and about a billion pounds of sand flies out of them. Now with these, a lot of times you'll see at the ends, you get these little blobs of second cuts, and this is kind of what they look like. And what causes that is when the shearer makes a pass with the shears and they lift up instead of pulling back on the shears for the next pass, and they leave a little lump of fiber there, and then they have to go back and clean that off. So it leaves all these little kind of weird places, and you don't want any of that in your yarn. So if you can get a really good shearer, we were very fortunate to have Adam Riley with Mr. Clipper Shearing as our shearer. So we had very few second cuts. Adam grew up on an alpaca farm, and his mom is a fiber artist, so he understands what the fiber needs to look like after it's shorn off the alpaca. So the next thing that I do, I just go through and I open up each lock, and like you'll see here, there's a lot of hay in this. Just try to remove as much of that as I can. Another little second cut. I've got a whole bag of them here. Little pieces like that, that's not going to be usable for making yarn. It's not going to spin well with the longer lengths of fiber, and the yarn would come out looking very fuzzy. Not a very aesthetically pleasing yarn. Plus it will probably be a little uncomfortable as far as wearing next to your skin because the little ends would be sticking out all the time. Just go through and pick everything out, and you're going to find all kinds of interesting things. I've found snake skins, I've found bird nests, I've found tools that had been left in somebody's pasture. Found a lot of unusual items. The most common things are little bits of poo and bugs that have gotten in there and they can't get back out. They get down in the fiber and can't figure out how to get back out. After this step will be the washing, and we just use Dawn or baby shampoo, and we just do a gentle wash as many times as it takes for the water to come clear, rinsing thoroughly after each wash, of course. And then we lay the fiber out to dry. When it's completely dry, I'll run it through the picker and remove any of these little bits like this that I may have missed, any little bits of hay. Sorry I'm having to do this in the shade, but it's 100 degrees here and the real field temperature is 108. So it's pretty much not fun to stand in the sun. Now I do save all these little bits that I take out and I return them to the owner. That way they can see what was removed from their fiber. They also can see, I don't save little bits of hay of course, but any other things that they may need to address with their shearer. I definitely return those to them, and that way they also know where their fiber went, because sometimes people will give you a 3-pound fleece and they'll only get back 1.5 pounds of yarn, and they're like, where did all my fiber go? And you have to kind of show them that it was all second cuts and debris and things that don't spin. So you get it back, just find a different use for it. Every little scrap is usable. Even these little second cut pieces can be used to stuff little crocheted toys with. You can make bird nesting balls with them. Just put them in there in a little, we use little tiny bird cages that we got at Michael's, and we just pack it full of little tiny bits, and the birds come, and when they're making their nests in the spring, and they take the fiber to help line their nests. And you can kind of see the seconds they stick up. And I'm doing this on a skirting table that we built, and a lot of times the second cuts will just fall through, but with a cria fleece, because their tips are kind of, icky, they've been in the amniotic fluid for so long, they are like Velcro, and they hang on to everything they come into contact with. So it's really important when you're doing a cria fleece to be gentle and to kind of try to baby it along as best you can without doing any kind of damage to it, but still be thorough, get all the stuff out of it. And like I said, this is not the way everybody does it, but this is the way that I do it, and this is the way that works for me, and I've been doing this for about 20 some odd years now. And there's probably a million videos out there how to skirt fiber. And you're going to skirt differently for different reasons. If you're skirting for a show, you're not going to do this. You don't want to disrupt the lock structure. But this is for hand spinning. I also worked at a mill that mainly processed alpaca fiber, and you skirt differently for that kind of production as well. See, there's a big blob of second cut right there. That could have been usable, but it's not. The other thing that I'm looking for is guard hair. And guard hair is a little more coarse. It looks, I don't know if you can see this, where I can get it where you can see it really well. It's very different from the main fiber, and it's more coarse. God put that there, nature put that there to help protect the important parts of the animal, the heart, the lungs, the extremities that are going to come into contact with thorns and bushes and things like that, where the fiber needs to be a little tougher. So I'm going to pull that out because that is not going to process as well as the other fiber will. And still, don't throw it away because every little bit has uses. When we were raising alpacas full-time, we would make more money off of our bad fiber. What we would consider bad fiber would be the leg and belly, because you could do more things with it. You know, it's one thing to make a lovely skein of yarn, but with the leg and belly fiber, that just opens up a world of possibilities of things to make. And we would make more per pound, about triple what we would make on the higher quality fiber. Now see, that is guard hair as well. See how straight that is compared to the rest of the fiber, and it's a little more coarse, so it's a different grade of fiber. But basically, that's what I'm doing today. I'm just finishing up this little fleece, and I have 3 more to do, and we just do one at a time. We take our time, make sure we get it right. We've been a little restricted by weather lately because for some reason we've been getting wind, and we just don't get wind, and it's just been crazy. I've been trying to do this for weeks, and every time I got out here, the wind would pick up and the fiber would start blowing, and I'd have to shut everything down, put it all back in the bag, and try again the next day. So anyway, that's job 1 for today, and we will catch you guys in the next step, which will be the washing and drying process. And I'll probably wait until I have all 3 ready to go, washed and dried, and then we'll show you what's next after that. So you guys have a great day, and thanks so much for joining us for an adventure with me and Tiki.